It was good before I, there we go. Hey, Peace World, thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. I'm the man here that makes it all work to some extent. Wood, it's basketball, man. I'm constantly at war with the NBA, mainly because, I only really rock with my Pistons. But I think one current way of following the game might be that you you move with the players that you like, or every year you just throw the stuff up you throw all the names up in the air and you pick an elite team that you like. I don't know if we have the same the same older way that we used to follow the game, where we just rock with the city closest to us and you just stay with that team. It seems like now, like I said, the way to go might be rocking with where the superstars go. So anyway, Kevin Durant was on. He's kind of called a truce, I guess, with the rivalry that had been going on with ESPN Stephen A. Smith, and I saw he was on First Take. I believe it was today. Maybe it was yesterday. I know the boardroom is out there. I haven't checked that out yet. I'm looking forward to checking that out. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. But some things that Kevin Durant said were interesting to me. And I don't even know how I'm processing this. He's my favorite offensive player to watch in the league. I'll admit, I'll throw that disclaimer out there. I do like to watch the man's go to work offensively because of his reliance or inclusion of the mid-range jumper, which is something he can do at 6'10", 6'11", that a lot of, your smaller players might not, they might be the dunk, layup, or, three-pointer for shorter guys. But anyway, he said in response to getting, his reasoning for leaving Golden State, he said a lot of stuff had reared its head in Golden State. It was the end. It was the end no matter what. He went on to say our contracts were going to stifle the team. Livingston was retiring, and then Iguodala was getting older. And then he also specifically cited, the timeout incident with Draymond Green, and just said, it was a situation that could have been avoided, and it was something that opened up a lot of nonsense, and then it kind of thrust his free agency status to the forefront of the discussion for the remainder of the year. I thought he handled it well, because I still struggle with what can an NBA player really tell you, maybe any player in any sport, but what can they really tell you about what they're going to do for next year? Why would you, even if you knew that you were staying, even if the money was going to line up and everything, and the perfect relationship with the team, and the team was projected to be a number one seed and a finals team in the next year, why would you take away your chance to negotiate? To be able to, that just, so I don't understand how, for an 82 game season, I really don't understand how reporters can sit here and expect to get an answer, a definitive answer one way or the other. But with regards to this situation, on the surface, I want to say he's a front runner. To say that a lot of stuff had reared its head, it was the end no matter what, let me get out of here. Before this thing falls apart, let me go find a better situation. I want to say that he's a front runner, even though that's my man. He's a Redskins fan. He's from the DMV area. I think he even produced some music or something, some hip hop. So I dig KD. And I like what he's doing. I made a video on here when I checked out and binged the boardroom shows on ESPN Plus. But I guess this just kind of sums up where I am with following the NBA, man. That these guys, they're well paid. I mean, he's making what, 35, 37 million a season in Brooklyn. And I said this before, We can't look at it how we would look at a job, us everyday working folks. We can't look at it and process this how we would approach, you know, our loyalty to our employers. He's going to a place that's going to fit the system around him. That's my thing. If you were going to move, change jobs, you know, if you were going to go to a different company, you got all kind of boxes you want to check. You know, what kind of resources do you have? You know, what's the benefits package? How, what holidays do you recognize? How much travel is there? Do you pay to relocate me? For, any relocation? Like, they don't have any of these concerns, even with your day-to-day on what systems you would use to do your job, or, what support, what admin people are around to help you do this job. What's the workload? Like, these guys don't have any of these concerns, man. If I'm Kevin Durant and you're going to pay me $35, $37 million, $40 million a year, I'm coming to that team. You're going to fit everything around me. You're going to cater and tailor everything around me. I'm going to be paid well. Relocation doesn't really, all of that stuff really doesn't matter. Healthcare, all of that stuff really doesn't matter. I mean, you might want to know what the training team, what the team's training staff is about. There are some in the league, that are more reputable than others and whatnot. But they don't have the same things to weigh. But like I said, looking at the character of KD, man, and this is where I am right now. Just the last couple of weeks with just kind of coming to a head with all of the talking by so many different athletes, and we're in this era now, when you have a show like The Shop, LeBron's The Shop, guys are on Twitter sharing more, athletes are on Instagram sharing more. We got more new media type people running around getting comments. I see in my sport, the one that I cover more so than the others, boxing, I'm watching Clarissa Shields, an undisputed women's champion. She's defending herself and talking and sharing all of her thoughts. Tyson Fury is out here talking about, it's just so much talking right now. And so I'm trying not to be, I'm trying to take in what it is that Kevin Durant is here saying. One reason he's even doing this is because he's hurt right now and he can't play. So, obviously it was, and he's over on the East Coast now. It's just a trip across the bridge to go sit down with, and shout out to Stephen A, for brokering this sit down, and mending the fences, and, being a big, obviously it's great ratings for First Take, but salute to him for making this happen however he did it. And like I said, if anything, maybe I don't like some of what I'm hearing, and the fact that as soon as the hard times, the further they got away from being a 73-9 team to being a team, with these problems cropping up that he's talking about. But it's weird though, that you just, I just pulled a lever and hit the escape hatch and just bail out of here. That you got to think of this when it comes to buying jerseys. Like, I don't buy jerseys. I haven't bought any jerseys in the last several years. But if I had kids, or if I was in my jersey stage, I'd only buy retired players. I'd only buy players who are retired. That was the last couple that I bought. They were dudes that played in the 80s. I was like, I can't mess with this stuff. But it's just as you're following these teams, and you get all emotionally invested in this, and you're doing the trade machines and all of that on and getting into forums, going at it with fans of the same team. There's just some situations to sit back. Some details to sit back and watch how these guys, approach these decisions. And maybe you shouldn't even care. Maybe you shouldn't even be invested in it. You just go buy tickets to when the better teams are. If you live in the middle of the country where they have obvious problems with holding on to the better talent as they go to the coast and then down to Texas and Miami, if you're sitting here in the middle of the country, man, maybe it's just you go watch when the Lakers are in town. When the Rockets come to town. Maybe it's just some strategic reasoning for why you go buy tickets to some of these games. And like I said, it just gives you an understanding of what these guys factor into these decisions. The one thing, and I'll say this so I can get on off of here, but the one thing that continues to be a problem, man, is just these interpersonal relationships between different players. Here he is months later. We saw that situation, the blow up. And then for Golden State, like, who can we really bring in here knowing that we got a loose cannon in Green and Draymond, and you set us down this path because you don't know how to watch your conduct. You don't know how to play well with others. And it was unnecessary for Draymond to bring this situation up, in a timeout. And you talking about contracts and blah, blah, blah. That's a situation that Draymond wasn't handling well. He was frustrated with with the coverage of that and with people questioning that. But, KD hadn't said anything that I know, that I'm aware of at that point of what his intentions were. And again, why would you say anything definitive along those lines? So, like I said, man, I'm sure you've checked it out or will check it out. I'll be interested to see what people's thoughts are on KD. Like I said, it kind of really doesn't matter a whole lot from the perspective of, or the fact that he's on the bench, for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 months, if he even returns at all this season. So it's just him kind of clearing the air. It's not the most egregious stuff. You could tip your cap to him for fully understanding, the status of the team. And again, these guys have done enough. They sacrificed enough. They're successful enough to where they can be selfish. And like he said, hey man, all of this stuff was getting ready to happen. I don't have any ties to this organization. I wasn't drafted here. It was a business move the whole time. For he benefited them. They benefited from him being there. And he got paid handsomely and got a couple of rings and finals MVPs to boot. So, like I said, all in all, man, at the end of the day, it just boils down to a situation where, if you follow a bum team, if you follow a team that's poorly managed, poorly ran, that doesn't know how to accumulate assets and be competitive within the rules and the constructs of the NBA right now, and to be able to do what a Toronto did, who's not really a small city. I mean, Toronto's a big city, but what we have in Milwaukee right now, I mean, Milwaukee, if you're Detroit, I guess there's not a whole lot of teams right in there because a lot of teams have bright futures with young players right now. But you definitely can see a situation like Milwaukee. You get a team that's a player like Giannis Antetokounmpo outside of the lottery picks, and 5, 6 years later, you got a major player that you can build around, and you lucky if you're in a city where they're doing that. Anyway, man, that's my lunch break. Let me get on out of here, get back in here, give them the second half of this day. Again, appreciate all the new support to the channel. If you liked anything I was talking about, please consider hitting that like button. If you want to rap about it, feel free to leave a comment. And, have a great day. Peace.